Richmond, Petersburg, and surrounding areas. It's me, Miss Community Clovia, welcoming you to another edition of Community Conversations. And here with me, first of the month.
Right, as usual.
2nd Street Festival weekend. Everything that's happening this weekend. Last call for voter registration because the voter registration deadline is this coming Monday, October 6th. So, we are going to be talking about voting for 25 minutes. And we have Richmond Mayor L. Douglas Wilder to lead
Good
us
to be
on.
with you.
What is
always.
voting and why is it important in America?
Well, I was glad to be with you when you were kicking off at the Coliseum, and the interesting things that are coming up. One, the people who have not been able to vote because of a blight on their record that should be removed. Virginia has one of the worst statutes relative to restoration of rights. It's archaic, it's old, it needs to be refashioned. Governor Kane has done a good job of trying to change some of it. I tried to change some of it when I was there. Actually, the law has just got to be revamped and rewritten. And there are so many people afraid, oh, if you give those people the right to vote, they'll vote for some chosen groups. They act as if the people who have felony convictions are dumb, stupid, can't think. Sometimes, you got to remember what a felony has been in Virginia. Some years ago, if you wrote a check for over $50, that would be considered a worthless check. That was a felony. Over $50. Now that's been changed, the amount's been raised, but it gives you an idea of some of the people who have been affected through the years, some of the crimes that are no longer even classified as felonies. What does it take? It takes, and there are so many people who are living good lives now. They don't even want people to know, as you found out,
yes,
that they have records. And so I make this appeal, as we've always done. Participate and vote. I don't use that same slogan that so many people use. Well, you know, the right to vote is sacred. There's nothing sacred about the right to vote. It's a governmental function. No more sacred than the right to hold office. That's not sacred. That's an expectancy. So the right to vote is something that you should want to participate in. And it permits you the opportunity to participate, to argue, to fuss, to demand. And, you know, the reason
or
you
debate.
Well, debate. You know, people say, well, you know, wouldn't it be nice if everybody got along in City Hall? Couldn't we end the bickering? How do you think we got where we are? Do you think we got a strong form of government by saying, okay, can we have it? No, we had to fight. Do you think we got, for instance, today we just dedicated a ribbon-cutting ceremony at German School Road, finally, to end the endless years of sewage and drainage problems.
On German School Road.
We did that in the Chaco Bottom, when people were saying, well, we need to have investigations over it. We did it in Battery Park. And even though we were able to do these things, the only reason we were able to do them because we have a strong form of government that we could tell the city council, particularly in the latter two occasions, get on the side. We've got work to do. And that's why it's so important. Look what's going on in Washington today. People are debating the amount of money, who should be in charge. If you don't vote, if you don't have an occasion to call that congressman and say, look, if you don't do what you should do, you're gone. We're going to get you out of there. Why? You've got great pension plans for yourself. What about mine? Mine is being invested. I don't know where it's going. Why do we have to give $700 billion at one time? Can't we shorten that up? Why can't you put higher insurance on the amounts of monies that I have on deposit? Can't that be? Obama suggested $250,000. And guess what? McCain said the same thing. Now Bush says the same thing. Now Congress is going to do it. But who said it first? Obama. And how's it going to get done? Because people are debating, arguing, fussing. You can't participate in the debate. When I was coming up, Clovia, we had a book in the barber shop. It was a voter registration book, yellow book. I was a young kid, and people would be arguing, fussing about everything. And the guys who owned the place would say to me, Doug, go over and check, see if this guy's name is in the book. If his name was not in the book, we would not let him argue. Shut up, be quiet.
Wow.
And that is what caused so much registration to increase. Because the next time it came around, that guy's name was in the book.
Yeah.
He was shamed into it. It wasn't a sacred thing. And I'm not suggesting that people haven't died for a cause. But if you don't vote, just shut up and be quiet.
Simply.
It's very simply that. Shut up. No one cares what you got to say.
And we need your vote. So if you want to start
exactly
speaking and you want to
right.
start talking, we really,
If
really
you
need
want
you
change,
registered to
if
vote.
you want things, if you want better education, if you want better health care, if you want an opportunity to own a home, if you want to be able to send your kids to college, then you've got to vote, because you've heard me say it on this show so many times. There's a one-word definition for politics: money.
Mm-hmm.
And what are we arguing about now in Washington?
Money. The dollar sign.
The dollar
the greenbacks.
Don't you know?
You know, voting is our fundamental right in America. I had an opportunity to speak at the Adult Career Learning Center.
Yes.
And we were talking about voting, in particular with the younger adults, age 18 or older. And I think to them, when you're talking about the issues of the economy, you're talking about housing, some of the kids seem to think that it's over their heads because they're living with their family members. But there goes the family, there goes the home, and there goes the money or the jobs.
It's an interesting piece that you bring up. There's a piece in the Washington Post this morning by Courtland Malloy, who's a columnist. He said, you know, I took early retirement, thought I was in pretty good shape. I was told to invest in two things, which I did: invest in newspapers and invest in real estate. Now I find that the real estate I own isn't worth what I thought it was. The assessments have gone down, the price of it has gone down. I owe more on it now in mortgage than it's worth in terms of the final count. Newspaper stock has gone down, and the members of Congress, their retirements and their pensions are protected by the federal taxpayers who step in and pay whatever is necessary for them. Why can't we have that same concern about our people? So that young person who thinks, well, I'm living in my parents' home now, that isn't going to last forever, because that parent's home's value is going down. And you're going to be in a position to have to say, living on a fixed income, then how long is it going to be fixed? That's why some people have raised questions about what's going on in Wall Street. Why do I have to pay you all of this money at one time? $250 billion? You're not going to spend it at one time. Why don't we see how you spend this first $250, then come back for another $250, then come back for another $250 before you get to the $700 billion? Some are even saying $1 trillion bailout. It's not over our youngsters' heads. It's not over anyone's heads, because the time has come to slow up and ask questions. And if you don't understand, ask the question. There's no such thing as a dumb question.